Most paddle players think spending more on a racket automatically means playing better. That assumption is costing them money and holding back their game simultaneously. The difference between a $30 racket and a $400 racket has almost nothing to do with how well it plays at your level. It has everything to do with understanding what you are actually buying at each stage. These are the 7 levels of paddle rackets. By the end of this, you will know exactly where to spend your money and where you are just paying for a professional's name on a frame that was never designed for you. Level 1. The entry point, $30 to $80. This is where most people pick up their first paddle racket without understanding what they are holding. A basic fiberglass frame from a brand they have never heard of. Something that came with a court rental. A racket bought online because it was cheap and looked the part. There is nothing wrong with starting here. In fact, starting here is the correct decision if you have never played paddle before. The paddle industry would prefer you did not know this, because the margin on a $30 racket is considerably lower than the margin on a $200 one. What most beginners get wrong about level 1 is assuming the racket is the problem when the game feels difficult. It is not. At this stage, the racket does not matter. Your footwork matters. Your positioning matters. Your understanding of the walls matters. A paddle coach can outplay a club amateur using a level 1 racket because the skill gap is so large that the equipment is irrelevant. A $30 fiberglass frame is honest about what it is, a tool for learning the basics without financial commitment. The only mistake you can make at level 1 is spending more than $80, which is a mistake the paddle industry actively encourages you to make. The best choice at level 1 is the most basic round-shaped fiberglass racket you can find from a reputable retailer. Round shape, soft core, low balance. These 3 features give you the largest sweet spot available, forgive off-center hits, and protect your arm while your technique is still inconsistent. Do not spend more than $80 here. You are not ready for anything more demanding, and anything more demanding is not ready for you. Level 2. The serious beginner, $80 to $150. This is where paddle stops feeling like something you do occasionally and starts feeling like something you actually want to improve at. You have played enough to understand the game's basic structure. You can sustain a rally. You are starting to think about positioning. And the racket you borrowed from the club is starting to feel like a limitation. It is not, but that feeling is a signal worth acting on. The Head 1. Ultralight, at around $140, is the benchmark for this level. 300 grams. A 12K carbon hitting surface that produces spin and control without requiring the swing speed of an advanced player to activate it. Head's comfort foam internally improves stability and dwell time, meaning the ball stays on the face of the racket slightly longer, giving you more control over direction. For beginners and juniors, this weight and balance combination is the most arm-friendly option in the serious beginner range. A player who switched to the Head 1 Ultralight after 6 months on a borrowed club racket described the experience in a paddle forum as the first time the racket stopped fighting her. She was not suddenly better. She was suddenly less tired, and that energy went directly into her footwork instead of her arm. That is what the right level 2 racket does. Here is what the marketing will not tell you at level 2. The shape of your racket matters more than the brand. A round shape with a low balance point gives you control and forgiveness. A diamond shape with a high balance point gives you power, but only if your technique is strong enough to consistently hit the sweet spot, which is smaller. Most beginners who buy diamond-shaped rackets at this level do so because they look like pro rackets. They perform worse for beginners than a round frame at the same price. Buy for your level, not for your aspirations. If you are finding this breakdown useful, subscribe before we continue. We cover paddle the way the brands hope you never will, with honest information, not sponsored recommendations. Level 3. The Developing Player, $150 to $220. You can sustain long rallies. You have a bandeja you are reasonably proud of. You understand where to be on the court most of the time. And you are starting to notice that your racket responds differently in different situations. That there is texture and nuance in how a racket plays, not just power or no power. Welcome to Level 3. This is where the paddle racket market genuinely starts to reward careful purchasing decisions. The Knox equation. Advanced, at around $170, is the standout value at this level. Padel USA called it one of the best value-for-money rackets of 2025, made from high-quality materials that help developing players improve securely, step by step. The carbon fiber construction at this price point is significant. Fiberglass, which dominates Level 1 and early Level 2, flexes more on impact and gives you less precise feedback about where the ball is meeting the face. Carbon gives you cleaner information on every shot. That feedback is how technique improves. The critical mistake at Level 3 is buying a racket that is too demanding for your current level. Advanced carbon rackets with hard EVA cores and diamond shapes punish inconsistent timing, and developing players have inconsistent timing. A coach who works with club players described it without hesitation. He regularly sees intermediate players regress after buying high-end power rackets. One of his students came to a session with a diamond-shaped €400 frame he had bought after watching Premier Padel on television. His smash had improved. Everything else had gotten worse. The smaller sweet spot was exposing timing errors he never knew he had when he was playing with a more forgiving racket. 2 weeks later, back on a round frame at Level 3 prices, he was playing better than before the expensive purchase. Buy the racket that matches where you are, not where you hope to be in 6 months. Level 4, the intermediate, $220 to $300. You have developed a playing style. You know whether you are a defender or an attacker. You are starting to win points deliberately rather than by accident. And you are ready for a racket that has a point of view, a frame built around a specific philosophy rather than a compromise for all levels. This is the most important level to get right, because it is where most recreational paddle players spend most of their playing careers. The Starvi Titania Pro, at around $250, is the benchmark. Padel 5 named it the best value-for-money racket on the market in their 2024 analysis. The EVA Soft High Recovery Rubber Core delivers a ball response that most players associate with rackets at €50 more. The fiberglass and titanium surface provides flexibility and durability across extended seasons of regular play. For a player at this level, someone who plays 2 to 4 times per week and wants a racket that rewards improving technique without punishing the inevitable imperfect shot, the Titania Pro is the most honest option on the market at this price. Here is the uncomfortable truth about Level 4. A lot of what you are paying for above $300 is the professional player's name on the frame. 2 rackets can contain similar materials, similar cores, and similar construction quality. And one costs $80 more because it is co-signed by a player ranked in the world's top 10. That player's biomechanics, swing speed, and technique are calibrated for an entirely different racket specification than the one you are holding. The Level 4 lesson is simple. Buy for your style, not for the poster on the wall. Level 5, the advanced player, $300 to $380. Level 4 was about discovering your playing style. Level 5 is about exploiting it. There is a fundamental difference. At Level 4, you are still learning what kind of paddle player you are. At Level 5, you have a reliable bandeja. Your positioning is deliberate rather than reactive. You can read the court 2 shots ahead, and you are starting to notice that a more precise racket, one with a tighter sweet spot and a firmer response, actually helps you rather than punishes you, because your technique is consistent enough to exploit the difference. The Knox AT10 Genius 12K at around $350 is the standard at this level. Available in the 12K carbon fiber configuration with MLD black EVA core, it is the version of Agustin Tapia's signature racket designed for serious club and competitive players rather than for professionals. Paddleful rated the AT10 Genius maneuverability at 9.4 out of 10, the highest in their entire 2026 selection. That maneuverability is not a soft descriptor. It reflects a specific engineering achievement, a racket that moves quickly through the swing without sacrificing stability on heavy shots. Racket Central named Knox one of the most trusted paddle brands for players who value feel and precision. The The 12K version sits at the entry to the AT10 line at a price that advanced club players can justify without the full premium of the 18K configuration. Do not buy this racket before you are ready for it. The sweet spot is smaller than the levels below. The core is firmer. It demands consistent technique to deliver what it promises. If you are still working on your bandeja or your smash timing, spend 6 more months at level 4 first. The racket will still be there. Level 6, the competitive player, $380 to $460. You play in organized competitions and you take them seriously. You train with a degree of structure. The players you compete against are skilled enough that equipment decisions can create genuine advantages at the margin. Level 6 is not about ego. It is about matching your investment to the level of play you are genuinely operating at. The Adidas Metalbone Pro Edition, at around $460, is the reference point at this level. Built with 16K carbon and EVA soft rubber, it generates elite-level power while maintaining a responsive feel, and features a longer grip designed for two-handed backhands or increased leverage on overhead shots. Independent reviews have noted that it is designed explicitly for pro-level performance, which means intermediate players may find it unforgiving, and advanced players will find it rewarding. Alejandro Galan plays a version of this frame on the Premier Padel circuit. The version you can buy delivers the same engineering architecture without the custom modifications that Galan's technical team applies to his specific racket. But the underlying construction philosophy is identical. At this price, you are paying for a racket that has been engineered around the demands of high-level competitive play, not around the forgiving construction philosophy of recreational equipment. The honest question at level 6 is not whether the racket is good enough. It is whether you are. A $460 racket in the hands of a player who has not yet developed the consistency to exploit its specification is an expensive way to play worse than you would with something at level 4. Your game will tell you whether you belong here. Listen to it more than you listen to the marketing. Level 7, the Elite, $420 to $500 plus. Here is the thing nobody tells you about level 7. The performance gap between this level and level 6 is the smallest it has been at any point in the entire spectrum. You are not buying meaningfully better paddle. You are buying a material specification, 18K carbon fiber, that exists primarily because the sport's elite players can detect differences in frame stiffness and response that most recreational players, even serious ones, simply cannot feel at the speeds they generate. The Knox AT10. Genius 18K is the benchmark. The 12K at level 5 and the 18K at level 7 share the same engineering architecture. The difference is the carbon weave density. 18K carbon fiber has a tighter, denser weave than 12K, which produces a stiffer, more responsive frame with marginally better energy transfer on the most powerful shots. In practice, at professional swing speeds, that difference is real and measurable. Paddleful noted that the 18K version delivers sophisticated precision that adapts to any court situation. One reviewer described it as one of those rare rackets that feels immediately right in the hand, regardless of whether you are defending deep or pressing forward. On the Premier Padel circuit, players who choose the AT10 Genius 18K over the 12K are making a decision based on thousandths of a second of dwell time and fractions of a degree of ball exit angle. Those fractions matter at that level. They almost certainly do not matter at yours. And that is the most honest thing this entire breakdown can tell you. The law of diminishing returns hits hardest at the very top of any equipment market. Unless you are competing at a genuinely high level and your coach has specifically recommended moving to an 18K frame, the €400 price point at level 5 gives you 90% of what level 7 delivers at 70% of the cost. So where does that leave you? The sweet spot in Padel Rackets sits between level 3 and level 5. From the Knox equation at $170 through the AT10 Genius 12K at $350. This is the range where quality, forgiveness, and performance actually meet for the majority of players who take the sport seriously. Start at level 2 to understand the game. Move to level 3 when your technique starts developing. Make the jump to level 4 when you know your playing style, whether you are a defender who lives at the back of the court or an attacker who finishes points at the net. Consider level 5 when you compete, and your consistency justifies it. Unless you are playing at a genuinely competitive level, ignore levels 6 and 7. That money buys coaching sessions, court time, and the kind of deliberate practice that improves your game far more than equipment ever will. 60 minutes with a good coach will do more for your bandeja than any racket ever made. The best paddle racket is the one that matches your level honestly, not the one that matches your aspirations expensively. Drop a comment and tell us which level you are currently playing at, and whether this changes your next racket decision. Subscribe if you want more content that cuts through the paddle marketing machine and tells you what actually matters on the court. The right racket does not make you a better player. The right racket stops getting in the way of the player you already are. We will see you on the 20 by 10.